Hey loves, welcome back to my channel. So in my last video, labor and delivery story time, I told you guys to leave questions in the comments and that I would answer them. So yeah, I have about 19 questions that I picked out that I'll be answering. A lot of people did ask like the same questions, and then there were some questions that I felt were too personal and I was like, I don't think I want to share that. So with that being said, yeah, please disregard the noise you may hear in my background. There's a lot of people at my house and I'm sorry, but I gotta get this video out to you guys. So I'm like trying to egg that out. Anywho, the first question, did he come on his due date? No, he did not. Well, according to the doctors, when I was due, he came 7 days early to the due date that they gave me. But honestly, in my opinion, he came on his correct due date because the doctor, when I first went in to confirm my pregnancy, they didn't even know what my due date was. They gave me a date and then they changed my date about 4 different times. So honestly, they were just throwing numbers out there. But from what I calculated in my head from my last period, he came on his correct due date. So that's that. Next question. How long were you in the hospital after having your baby? I was in the hospital for 3 days. It felt like the longest 3 days of my life. It felt like forever. Like, I just hated being confined to one room and that was it. Like, it was just, I needed air. Like, I'm that type of girl. I like to go outside and breathe and walk around and see the sun. And so yeah, 3 days. How many weeks were you when you delivered? According to the doctors, I was 39 weeks. According to my calculations, I was 40 weeks. How did you come up with his name? Actually, Zed came up with his name. It was actually very hard. Like, we thought about it for so long. Like since we first found out that we were having a kid, we were thinking about it. And it's crazy because like we came up with a girl name like really quick. Like, our girl name was just like set. But as for a boy name, it was just extremely hard. Like, so I don't even know how, I didn't come up with the name. Zed came up with the name. I don't even know how he came up with the name. I just, like, he was just thinking and it just came to him. Like, it came to him. So yeah, but basically we just wanted a name that was powerful and that had a lot of spiritual meaning behind it. And it's crazy because like when I first thought of me having like a kid, I always said like, oh, I want my son's name to be King or Prince. And after, like, it's 2017, it's so many people whose sons have that name. I didn't want my kid to have that name because I'm like, there's too many people who have that name. Like, I don't want that. Like, I wanted his name to be unique and something to be different. Like how my name is. Nidira, I don't know any Nidiras, but I'm pretty sure there's other Nidiras out there, but they probably took the name from me. Yeah. But yeah, so we just wanted something very unique and different and something that was powerful. So I guess God brought the name to him and bam, there we have it, baby blessed. Did the nurses constantly take him out of the room or did they leave him with you for a while? So basically this person is asking, did the nurses take the baby out the room after I delivered him or did they leave him with me for a while? Now, this is the awesome thing about the hospital that I delivered at. One of their policies is that your child does not leave the room at all. Your child does not leave your sight at all. And I love that. Like, I didn't want to go somewhere where my child was going to be taken away from me. I don't trust people. I just don't trust my child being out of my sight. Like, I'm completely overprotective. So I was so happy at the fact that their policy was that your child never leaves your sight. So as soon as he came out, like, they checked him and everything, gave him his shots like right there in front of me. He never left me ever. The only time they keep your child or take your child out of the room is if your child has like complications and you need to look after them. So yeah. Did you ever consider having a midwife instead of a doctor? No. I've never even thought about it, honestly. I really didn't see a point in that. Yeah, so no. How many days did you stay with stitches before it was taken out? They gave me the stitches right after labor. These stitches actually dissolve, so they don't take the stitches out. So yeah, the stitches just dissolve, they just disappear one day. Where did you learn your breathing techniques? Well, honestly, I did a lot of research. That was one, because I am a first-time mother and I feel like knowledge is power. So you definitely want to read everything, books, go on the internet, everything. And then also my mother has 4 children. She pushed all of us out naturally, and that was, before even doing my research, that was something that she told me over the phone, like, this is what you need to do when you're going into labor. So yeah, I had that stuck in my head. She just was like, stay calm and just keep breathing. And when those contractions come, just keep breathing, you'll be fine. And that's exactly what happened. So what was your inspiration behind his name? I think I kind of already answered that in the beginning, but so a name that was powerful, spiritual, unique, a name that stood for something. That's what we wanted. And yeah, we got baby blessed. Okay, so this person said, did you do something else to prepare yourself for labor, like exercise? Like I told you guys before, I didn't have like any complications with being pregnant. Like, I literally was doing everything that I've been doing before I was even pregnant. So I was all constantly up and moving and active. So I never really had a need to exercise because I was on my feet and active every day. Did you pre-register with your hospital so you didn't have to do any paperwork once you were going into labor? Luckily, my OBGYN office was in the same, was in the hospital that I delivered my baby. So basically, all my paperwork was already done because I've been going to visits to see my doctor, and my doctor just transferred all my paperwork. After giving birth, did it change you spiritually or personally? No, I am still the same person. I've already been working on myself personally and spiritually. I love where I am and who I am. Of course, there's always room for improvement, but the experience didn't change me, no. How do you feel about being a young mom? Okay, this is I think a 3-part question. How do you feel about being a young mom? Did you ever think how others would view you? And how do you think the baby would affect your modeling? Okay, how do you feel about being a young mom? I think people are failing to realize at the fact that becoming a mother was a decision. Terminating the pregnancy was definitely an option, and I chose not to do that. So I feel amazing about the decision that I've made for my life. I wouldn't have made a decision if I wasn't ready or if I didn't want to do it. Did you ever think how others would view you after? I don't live my life based on what other people think about me or how they feel about me, or what they would do versus what I would do. Like, I live my life for me, so I'm going to do what I want to do, and the bottom line is people are going to talk good and bad about you whether you're doing good or bad. So I'm not making certain moves based on how other people may think about me. That doesn't matter. One thing I don't condone in negativity. I can definitely say that I'm a very positive person. I spread love, and that's all that matters. So when people come across me, that's what they're going to receive. It has nothing to do with my personal life, and their personal feelings on my personal life doesn't matter, doesn't concern me. I'm going to live my life. I'm going to live my life the way I want to live my life. Because I only get one time to be Nadira. So I'm going to do what Nadira wants to do and how Nadira wants to do, and I'm not going to care about what people have to say about the decisions that I'm making for me that make me happy. So how do you think the baby would affect your modeling? There's no such thing. My child cannot affect my career in any kind of way. If I felt that way, I wouldn't have had the child. Everything is mind over matter, like I told you guys before. My child is a blessing, so if anything, he's going to boost my career, because people are going to see that I am not only an entrepreneur, hardworking actress and model, but I'm also a mother at the same time and set an example. So there's no way that he can affect my career or anything in a negative light. Did the hospital provide diapers? Yes, the hospital actually provided everything. I know you guys seen like what's in my hospital bag, and it's so crazy because like I thought that I packed light, which I did. I packed really light. I just brought like what was necessary, and even the stuff that I felt like was necessary really wasn't necessary because the hospital had everything for me. Like the only time I went into my bag is when I took a shower to change into my clothes, to change into different clothing, and when my clothes to leave, and then also Bless's clothes to leave. But that was it. Other than that, like I didn't have to use anything. Like I brought my own diapers and wipes and everything. They had everything, literally. So I really didn't have to use any of my stuff. Was it hard to eat after the baby arrived? No. It was, as soon as I was done, like I was like, okay, where's the food? Like I'm hungry, because I didn't tell y'all that they was eating Chinese food before I went into labor. So I'm smelling the food, but it was crazy because I was smelling the food, but I wasn't even hungry. But I literally didn't eat that whole day. Like I was starving before I went into labor. But then when I started having contractions, and then I was so just like consumed, like what was going on, I wasn't thinking about food. But definitely after I had him, I was hungry and I was ready to eat. So no, it wasn't hard to eat. I ate, okay? How much did he weigh? He weighed 7 pounds. Did you deal with real painful cramps? So basically this person is asking, like, did I deal with period cramps prior to having the contractions? Like, was my period cramps bad? Is that why I could take the contractions? So I'm going to tell you guys that this is exactly what my mother told me. Like I used to have like really horrible period cramps. Like they were to the max. And my mom told me that that's exactly what contractions feel like. And she was like, girl, you're going to be able to take it, because them cramps that you have, because me and my mom have the same like severe cramps. She was like, the cramps that we already experience is what contractions feel like, so you'll be fine. And that's exactly what it was. Like that's another reason why I could take it, is because I already experienced severe cramps, and that's all that contractions are severe cramps. So if you never experienced like really bad cramps, then this is going to be a shock to you. You're going to be like, what is happening? But for me, been going through it my whole life, so it was just like whatever. How long were you in labor? Okay, so let me just break this down. So I don't know what you guys consider labor. Like, do you consider labor like how long I was like having contractions up until when I delivered the baby? Or do you consider labor like when I actually delivered the baby? Because that's what I consider labor. I don't consider labor me having contractions. I don't. Just sitting there having contractions. I consider labor like 10 centimeters is time to push. So when I was at 10 centimeters and they said it's time to push, I only pushed for about 10 to 15 minutes. But if you're asking, you know, how long were you in labor, as in from the time you got to the hospital when you were having contractions up until you delivered. I got to the hospital probably around like 7:30, 8 o'clock. don't really remember what time I got in my room, but I didn't have the baby until like maybe like 12 or 1 in the morning. So I don't remember which time, 12 or 1 or close, like 12:31, I don't know, one of them. But like I said, like I said in my last video, I was dilating every hour. Okay, so if I got in my room at 8 o'clock, 6 hours. That wraps this video up. Thank you guys so much for keeping up with me in my journey. Yeah, so I'll see you guys next time.